with the Bitcoin ETFs really looking like they're going to be approved here over the next month or two, it really stands to acknowledge that we are in a place where the biggest, most trusted third parties, the most trusted financial companies in the world are going to be marketing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care what you think. Bitcoin doesn't care what I think. Bitcoin doesn't care what anyone thinks. Bitcoin just keeps on ticking. Tick tock, next block. Bitcoin continues to do what it does no matter who likes it, no matter Senator Warren likes it, Roger Marshall, the Chinese government, the American government, Mr. Putin, Mr. Xi. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is rules, not rulers. It is free speech. It is ones and zeros. It is a protocol, an open protocol that anyone is able to join or leave. The network continues to grow, though, over and over. Hence why it went from having no price 15 years ago to 1 cent per Bitcoin to $100 to now $44,000 per Bitcoin. Clearly, the world is valuing Bitcoin more and more and more every single day. When they see things like the Canadian trucker convoy or wars around the world and people having to flee and refugees fleeing with their seed phrase in their head, the passphrase or the seed phrase in their head, or on a USB, a wallet, walking around to the next country and holding all their wealth. Could be billions, could be trillions of dollars stored in their head or on a drive, on a wallet. That is the beauty of the life we are living in now. Never has a time been greater than to live in the world right now. We see liquidity flooding into the system really since the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Programs, earlier this year when banks were collapsing and they had to backstop that somehow. Well, we've seen liquidity really flooding back into the system. And you look at things like the 10-year yield has dropped 100 basis points, a full percent over the last month or two. I mean, it's wild. You don't see the safe haven assets acting like this. It's because it's like Larry Fink said, Bitcoin is the flight to safety now. We are in a chasm now where they have the old system fracturing and breaking up. As we've given this example many times, the old fiat legacy debt-based monetary system is the Titanic, and the bow is up in the air. And it's cracking now, and it's starting to come and slam down. This is the chapter of the story we are in now. And the Bitcoiners are on a life raft, looking away and going away, and they were yelling the entire time, "Get off the boat, it is sinking. It is sinking." And for a long time, for 15 years, people said, it's not sinking. The dollar's fine. Everything's okay. You guys are morons. You Bitcoiners are stupid. You Bitcoiners are ridiculous. You Bitcoiners are moon boys. You Bitcoiners are crypto people. And all the lies and all the objections, all the FUD, all the ridiculous behavior because people didn't humble themselves to actually take a few minutes to see what was going on. We all have to go through the gauntlet. No Bitcoiner is a genius. We've all gone through the gauntlet. We've all had to stop, pause, and say, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about this. Alvin Toffler said in the book Future Shock from 1970, the successful people in the future will be the people that can learn, unlearn, and then relearn. We are again in that phase. We are in a fourth turning. This is continuing to happen over and over and over. I got to show off my Bitcoin jersey. Satoshi, by the way, Corey Secord of Hodler's Official. He literally gave this off his back to me. One of the nicest people I've ever met. But you have people young and old. You've got Larry Finks of the world and these asset managers at Fidelity and BlackRock, in wherever it is, Grayscale, going and promoting Bitcoin. And then we have the youngest people in the world, my children, who are talking about Bitcoin. Corey, who's much older than that, but 20 years older than that, talking about, in his 20s though, talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin, having Bitcoin businesses. This is an unstoppable force. That's all Bitcoin is. It's a thought. Money is a thought. Money is psychological. And when people continue to realize every single day it's an unstoppable money with the hardest properties ever to exist in a commodity, it will naturally become money. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. It doesn't matter if people think the government's going to stop it. That alone is ridiculous because we are the government. We can stop it. So understanding where we are in this macro phase and what is actually happening, the Bitcoin price in dollar terms is going to skyrocket because the dollar will continue to fall in value, 100% guaranteed without a doubt, because that's what happens to all fiat currencies. They have a 100% failure rate all throughout human history. All fiat currencies have gone to zero. $30 trillion is potentially going to flow into Bitcoin in the next year or two because the most interesting man in the world, as we've seen with the commercials, these ETFs are going to be vying, the most trusted people in the world currently are going to be vying for people's attention to get into Bitcoin. Now, that's not real Bitcoin per se, because it's not in your own cold storage and you don't own it, not your keys, not your coins. However, the most important part is Bitcoin is on people's tongue. We want Bitcoin on politicians' tongues, on asset managers' tongues, on Warren Buffett's tongue. It doesn't matter who it is, on Xi, on Putin, on Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. We want it on your tongue. It's the Streisand effect. We want people hearing it over and over, and we want adoption to increase. Why do we want adoption to increase? It's not because Brandon owns Bitcoin. It's not because I'm trying to pump my own bags. If you understood 1 second of how a Bitcoiner thinks, you are understanding that it's a new monetary system we are transitioning to. It's a new world. It's a world where we want deflation to exist and not inflation. A world where all people benefit, prices go down, standard of living go up, period. End of story. That's what Bitcoiners, a true Bitcoiner, is in it for. They're not in it to pump their bags for fiat gains. Why would I trade the hardest money on earth for fiat trash tokens, the US trash token? Why? Can you answer me why I would do that? Why would I ever sell out of my Bitcoin and then sell and go into that? Will I trade my Bitcoin someday as it grows in purchasing power to trade it for an estate, for a citadel? Yeah. Of course I will. To buy food? Yes, of course I will. But in the meantime, we're in this weird world, in this chasm where we still have fiat that exists. So I'll continue to buy cheap sats in Bitcoin over time and continue to defund this corrupt legacy debt-based monetary system. End of story. The biggest asset managers in the world are about to pump Bitcoin, and they're going to speed up the demise of the US dollar. The government is going to speed up the demise of the US dollar. This is guaranteed. This is why we Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is exactly the opposite. Bitcoin is a finite container. 21 million, it's inelastic, it won't move. The dollar is continually going down in value because they print more and more of it. It's diametrically opposed, 180 degrees opposite of the dollar. That's why we can guarantee Bitcoin will continue going up in price, nominally, and in purchasing power. So thank you, Larry Fink. Thank you, asset managers. You're about to pump 30 trillion in the next couple of years. Even if it's a 1% or 2%, just imagine what that will do to price and the amount of marketing and Bitcoin being in people's minds and on their tongue. It's going to be a wild ride. As Satoshi Nakamoto said, you might want to get some because it might just catch on. And more importantly, do your homework. Trust but verify. Do your own homework. All Bitcoiners have to go through this gauntlet, getting hurt, the pain, and losing out, and realizing Bitcoin is the thing. Everything else is garbage. Everything else is trash. Bitcoin was the end of the line. We were trying to make Bitcoin and come up with this digital money for decades before Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin was when it finally all came together the right way. And then everyone has been scamming, affinity scams, and trying to play off of it for the last 15 years. If people think they can change the code or do better, good luck. It's open source. You can do it. People have tried. 20, 30, 50,000 coins have in the last 15 years. And none of them can or will catch up to Bitcoin. I appreciate you. Please share this out. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify everything I'm saying. Don't believe me. This is not financial advice. It is freedom advice. And I'll see you on the next one.